Starting in 1964, more and more laws have been passed restricting the previously freely used items cigarettes. It started with required warnings on cigarette boxes, then advertising bans. In the 1970s, restrictions on smoking extended to restaurants, government buildings, and airplanes. According to the National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, in 2009, a total of 30 states had implemented 100% smoke free workplaces, restaurants, and bars. The issue that I am addressing is the ban on smoking in all of America. The two sides of this argument are pro-smoking ban and anti-smoking ban. Those for a ban on smoking argue many points, some including the extreme deadliness of cigarettes, the financial burden of cigarettes, the environmental effects of cigarettes, and the general want of smokers to quit. Those not in favor of the smoking ban argue the rights of consenting adults, how tobacco can be enjoyed in moderation, and the negative effects of business on restaurants and lounges. My position is in favor for the ban of smoking in America. I am against smoking in America for multiple reasons. An obvious and possibly the most important reason is the deadly health effects that smoking has. The National Cancer Institute shows that smoking causes various forms of cancer, including throat cancer, mouth cancer, bladder cancer, lung cancer, chronic bronchitis, and heart disease. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, worldwide, tobacco causes nearly 6 million deaths per year, and current trends show that tobacco use will cause more than 8 million deaths annually by 2030. But smoking doesn't just physically affect the smoker, but also those around them. Another CDC shows that the secondhand smoke, which is exposure to cigarette smoke without being the ones physically smoking, can cause sudden infant death syndrome, respiratory infections such as bronchitis and pneumonia, more severe and frequent asthma attacks, ear infections, and chronic cough. Secondhand smoking has killed over 2.5 million since 1964, 41,000 deaths per year in America. Killing half its long-term users and addictive by design, cigarettes are extremely dangerous. Cigarettes are also financially harmful. Cigarette smoking generates as much as $170 billion in annual healthcare spending in the United States, according to the National Institute of Health. This cost affects both smokers and non-smokers. Cigarettes are also damaging to the environment. The Partnership for Drug-Free Kids stated that to grow tobacco requires pesticides, chemical fertilizers, and deforestation. Cigarettes are also the top source of litter on beaches and one of the top sources of fire-related deaths each year. Lastly, smoking is a habit that many want to quit. 70% of smokers want to quit, but last year only 6% succeeded. Banning smoking would facilitate those desperately trying to break their addiction. The opposing viewpoint on smoking are those not in favor of the smoking ban. These opposers argue the right of consenting adults, how tobacco can be enjoyed in moderation, and the negative effects of business on restaurants, bars, and lounges. Opposers claim that losing the business of smokers could impact their sales, but with only 17% of the population smoking and a small percentage of that number being younger than 21, most bars won't see an enormous change in business. And with some losses due to a ban on smoking will bring in new customers who previously didn't attend the bar or restaurant because of the smoking that did take place before. The main argument is the argument that adults have the right to decide and put what they want into their bodies knowing how it can harm them. The opposition claims that prohibiting smoking infringes on their personal rights. Since only 17% of Americans smoke, many non-smokers, including myself, ask, well, I don't smoke, so why should I care what others do to themselves? But smoking doesn't just affect the smoker. It affects non-smokers who inhale secondhand smoke as well. It also affects taxpayers, who have to pay for the mass amounts of healthcare payments. Again, $170 billion in annual healthcare costs due to smoking-related health problems. These taxes affect students like us who work part-time jobs with taxes taken out each year. It also affects everyday people who are affected by the negative environmental effects including litter, climate change, deforestation, and forest fires. According to a study by UC Davis Health, smoking is one of the top causes of fires each year, killing 300,000 per year worldwide and costing $27.2 billion. So when a smoker questions you why you care what they do with their bodies, you can tell them it's not just their lives that they're ruining.